So recently, there are a few times that I was chatting with people or responding to people on Reddit, and they would say something like, "Oh, I'm really um, guilty when it comes to standing up to my mom, telling them that I'm no longer wanting to support them. I want to do my own thing, or um, when they yell at me, I just want to leave the house, and yet I feel very guilty of that. Um, so I just want to share with you that this guilt that we feel is going to be always there. And nowadays, I help other people deal with the guilt because when it comes to people pleasing, is that we're always in a place where we're going to say yes to whatever happens to the other person. And, and it's this lingering guilt, this feeling, well, I don't want to ruffle the feathers. I don't want to make them angry. I want them to keep loving me. And that holds us back. And I want to share this because um, it had been hard when I was going through my own little experience, especially when I was dating my now husband. What happened was there was always this yelling at home, the facial expression where I always have to deal with it, the constant anxiety attack that my mom experienced, eventually the breast cancer that she had, and it's this guilt about I am the reason why she's having this, having to go through this. I I felt if only I could do what she asked of me, um, and then there was that struggle, and um, and even now, this feeling of creating these videos, and part of me holding myself back is what if she finds these videos? Is she going to say something like, why are you airing out dirty laundry, letting everyone know what we have gone through, or maybe the culprit of bringing her anxiety attack back, or creating another episode of breast cancer. So all of this is within me because in Chinese there is a saying, 我唔想做千古罪人, meaning I don't want to be the labeled as guilty, to be the culprit for 1,000 years. I don't want to be the culprit of her having some health issues. And this is something that a lot of people are going through. They would rather swallow and endure all those yelling, all those put downs, all of those um, all of the screaming. They would rather um, do the things that they don't want so that the parents don't get agitated, so that they maintain the peace. They will just leave it as is. They will rather leave it as is, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, are you what about your own, what about your own freedom, what about your choices, what about your own personality when you are wanting to do something, when you are disrespected? How are you standing up for yourself? And so for some people, they're okay with it, and there's nothing else that I can do, so I can only work with them to say, okay, here are the tools that I can share with you to get through from day to day to day. But if you're at a point in time where you're thinking, okay, do you know what, this is getting too much, I really cannot stand living like this anymore, then that's where I come in to tell you that you have to stand for yourself. And part of the fight is to deal with the guilt, because this guilt is going to show up, because this guilt, it comes from the belief that you are not a good child, that there are expectations that are put onto you and you're supposed to do them, but you're no longer able to comply. And it's this conflict that makes you feel guilty. And I want to tell you that this guilt is going to be there, and yet it doesn't mean you're not a good child. Of course, it's a belief that has been placed on you. So we work on separating out what is the belief from the outside and working to reframe who you are as a person, and then to acknowledge what you want, and then build up the courage to go after what you want. And here's the thing, I know a lot of times we may not want to carry this guilt. We don't want to be um, to be charged as the guilty person for 1,000 years. And yet, when we are not standing up for our values, especially if you are mom, dealing with your mom and you have your own kids, when you are not standing up for yourself, you are in turn, and I'm going to be presenting this to you, you are in turn letting your kids know that they cannot stand up for themselves either, because they will do what you're doing. How do you want your kids to stand for themselves? You have to work on standing up for you as an example, because the kids will always feel like they cannot go further because of their parents. And so that's why every day I am working on dealing with my own guilt, because I also feel guilty when I tell my clients or someone on Reddit to say, hey, you get to stand up for yourself. Your parents experience, their emotions are theirs to deal with, and yours is yours to deal with. Sometimes my own guilt also come up, and it's a bitch to deal with. And I have to keep reframing myself. I'm here to give my clients the voice that they need, because you know what? Your parents' past, they have already lived their lives. You are now in turn, it's yours to live. You get to choose, and you don't get dictated by what your parents ask you to do. And you still get to choose for you. And if going after what you want, if I can offer you this opportunity to this hope and dream of saying, hey, maybe you can do it too, and that's where I come from. And so guilt and is going to be something that you have to deal with. And tomorrow I'm going to share a little bit more about the fear of being rejected by our family, by our friends. And guilt and fear are the two things that we have to deal with when we want to go after what we want. So today I'm going to leave it at this, and I have resources to help you with that. If you're interested in that, look through the comment line, and you will see the 3 techniques to take care of your anxiety and stress. And the third technique, which is the faster EFT, is going to help you deal with the guilt, help you deal with the fear. And I also have the 5 steps to stand up to anyone, especially your parents. And that's also going to help you start your journey to going after what you want. So that's it for today. And I hope this video is going to help you to rethink about you gaining that voice to stand for you.